You ever sit alone at night and feel like your life already happened, even though you're still here? Like you're no longer a man living, just a collection of memories wearing skin. There was a time my heart moved reckless, back when every road felt wide, when the world still carried mystery and I still carried fire inside. I remember dancing through cheap apartments, laughing hard enough to lose my breath, back before survival slowly turned every beautiful thing into something temporary and left. Now those moments feel archaeological, fragments buried underneath the years, like evidence of someone vibrant, lost beneath accumulated fears. And Lord, memory gets heavier with age, because eventually it outweighs the present. By the end of my life, I was more memory than person, more echoes than desire, more reflection than becoming. Every room I entered carried ghosts, every song reopened old names, till I no longer knew if I was still living or just replaying emotional remains. Funny thing about getting older, nobody warns you about this part, the gradual transformation from participant into witness of your own heart. You stop expecting transformation, stop believing reinvention waits ahead, and slowly your inner world becomes crowded with conversations unfinished and emotionally dead. I started measuring time differently, not by dreams but disappearances. Who left, who died, who changed, who stopped answering existence with tenderness. 'Cause eventually life stops feeling like possibility and starts feeling like aftermath. Yeah, by the end of my life, I was more memory than person, carrying entire decades internally like old rain trapped inside curtains. Now these blues sound ancient tonight, like records left behind after war. Every note dragging history through silence, across a soul too tired to want more. Maybe consciousness itself becomes unbearable with time, because human beings are forced to carry every version of themselves simultaneously. The child, the dreamer, the broken lover, the exhausted survivor. None of them ever fully disappear. They pile inside the nervous system, layer after layer, until identity itself starts collapsing under remembrance. And maybe aging ain't the body weakening, maybe aging is memory, slowly replacing presence. Now I sit beneath dying neon lights, watching rain distort the street below, feeling like one more forgotten blues song the city used to know. And this guitar cries through my fingers like it's trying to summon former days, but every melody arrives too late to resurrect what time erased. Sometimes I speak old names out loud just to hear they once were real, 'cause memory becomes a second religion when the future no longer feels. Yeah, by the end of my life, I was more memory than person, a museum of vanished feelings, still somehow breathing in the dark. And maybe that's why old men grow quiet. It ain't wisdom like people claim, it's exhaustion from carrying entire cemeteries inside their brains. And maybe the saddest thing about being human is that long before the body dies, parts of the soul already begin, living only in memory. Some people fade away physically, and some people become ghosts inside themselves, years before they disappear. There was a time I stayed alive because I believed things would get better. Then one day, without noticing exactly when, I kept living for no reason at all. Just habit. Mornings stopped feeling like beginnings. It started feeling like repetition. Same ceiling, same coffee, same tired body, moving through another obligation. I still made my bed like a decent man, still answered people when they spoke, still carried conversations carefully, like cracked glass trying not to choke. But somewhere deep beneath the routine, hope quietly packed its things and left. No dramatic goodbye, no final warning, just an absence I eventually accepted. And Lord, human beings can adapt to emptiness in terrifying ways. I stayed alive out of habit, not hope. Like an old train still moving, long after running out of coal and smoke. Every day became maintenance, every smile another road, and every breath felt less like living, more like muscle memory of the soul. People think despair looks obvious, like tears or screams or shattered walls, But sometimes despair wears clean shirts, pays taxes, returns missed calls. Sometimes it learns to speak politely, learns exactly when to laugh, while internally feeling disconnected from every future and every past. I stopped making long-term promises, stopped imagining who I might become, 'cause imagination itself grew painful once hope stopped speaking through my lungs. 'Cause the opposite of happiness ain't sadness, it's emotional surrender. Yeah, I stayed alive out of habit, not hope. And that realization hit harder than every heartbreak I ever wrote. Now these blues sound terrifyingly honest, not dramatic, just worn thin, like music made by men too tired to pretend tomorrow means something again. Maybe the soul doesn't collapse all at once. Maybe it erodes gradually, through repetition without meaning, through surviving without connection, through years spent emotionally postponing yourself, until one day you realize you're no longer living toward anything, you're just continuing. And maybe that's why modern loneliness feels so heavy, because people aren't only starving for love, they're starving for reasons. Now I walk beneath these neon shadows, where rainwater mirrors broken light, feeling like a man the world forgot to bury, still wandering through the night. And this old guitar cries beside me like it understands what I became, a body fluent in survival, with a spirit too exhausted to explain. Sometimes I sit completely still, just listening to refrigerators hum, wondering how many human beings are alive tonight without truly feeling anyone home inside them. Yeah, I stayed alive out of habit, not hope. Kept breathing automatically, like a prayer spoken by rote. And maybe that's the quietest tragedy. A person doesn't need to die to slowly disappear from existence. Sometimes all it takes is losing the emotional reason they once had to remain. Some people fight to stay alive, and some people just never learn how to stop.
They praise me every time I stay quiet, every time I swallow pain, every time I carried heavy things without letting my face complain. So I learned early how to harden, how to lock emotions underground, how to answer heartbreak with silence, how to never let weakness make a sound. And the world rewarded that performance, called it discipline, called it pride, while loneliness grew like winter vines, wrapping slowly around my insides. And Lord, people admire emotionally unavailable men, right until they realize there's nobody home behind their armor. Nobody told me becoming strong meant becoming alone, meant carrying every burden quietly till silence replaced home. Now every relationship feels distant, every conversation feels rehearsed, 'cause the man built to survive everything forgot how to let himself be heard. There were nights I almost opened up, almost let the truth escape my chest, but decades of conditioning tightened like chains around every breath. 'Cause vulnerability felt dangerous, like stepping naked in the cold rain. I knew how to carry suffering privately, but not how to share pain. And women called me hard to reach, friends said I looked emotionally gone, but they never saw the frightened child still hiding beneath the man acting strong. 'Cause some boys aren't raised to feel, they're raised to endure. Yeah, nobody told me becoming strong meant becoming alone, meant confusing emotional numbness for maturity fully grown. Now these old blues sound brutally honest, like confessions from tired men who built such thick emotional walls they can't get back inside themselves again. Maybe masculinity was never the problem, maybe fear was. Fear disguised as toughness, fear disguised as composure, fear disguised as independence. Because little boys quickly learn the world often loves men most when they require nothing emotionally. So they amputate tenderness to survive, trade honesty for control, trade connection for dignity. And afterward, they wonder why success still feels empty. Now I sit beneath these midnight neon lights, listening to old electric blues, hearing generations of broken men trying to sing feelings they were never taught to use. And this guitar shakes beneath my hands like it knows exactly where I bled. Every note sounding like loneliness, too old and deep to fully name. Sometimes I envy people who cry easily, who can let sorrow leave their skin. 'Cause mine stayed trapped for so many years, it started turning inward within. Yeah, nobody told me becoming strong meant becoming alone, meant surviving every battle while slowly losing what made life feel warm. Still I walk these rainy streets at midnight, with silence living in my veins. A man applauded for his toughness while quietly disappearing from pain. And maybe the cruelest thing society ever taught me was that being needed mattered more than being known. Some men don't die from weakness, they die
receive the love. I learned early how to adjust myself, how to soften truth around certain ears, how to hide the parts that made people uneasy, how to make my darkness disappear. So I became easier to hold, easier to introduce in crowded rooms. Learn the exact shape of likability and wore it like polished shoes. Every rejection taught refinement, every silence trained disguise, till honesty itself started feeling dangerous, like standing naked beneath judgmental eyes. And Lord, the loneliest thing in this world is being loved for a version of yourself you had to manufacture. I became a stranger while trying to be loved, bend my soul till it fit their hands. Now every compliment feels misplaced, like applause for a man I don't understand. 'Cause they love the edited language, the safer shadow I designed, while the real me sat somewhere distant, watching quietly from behind. Funny thing about emotional survival, it rarely looks dramatic at first. No thunder, no collapse, no final goodbye, just little betrayals rehearsed. A laugh that wasn't fully honest, a silence where truth should have stood, another moment choosing acceptance over being deeply understood. And each compromise felt harmless, too small to mourn alone, till one day my reflection looked familiar, but no longer felt like home. 'Cause human beings can't survive invisibility long enough to confuse it with peace. Yeah, I became a stranger while trying to be loved, and nobody even noticed the exchange. 'Cause from the outside I looked successful, while internally I felt rearranged. Now these old blues sound painfully accurate, like confessions soaked in smoke and regret. Men singing from identity so fractured, they can't remember who they were before they bent. Maybe that's the hidden violence of society. Not hatred, not cruelty, but conditional acceptance. The quiet pressure to become digestible, presentable, convenient, until authenticity starts feeling socially dangerous. So people amputate pieces of themselves gradually,
for connection, for approval, for survival. And afterward, they wonder why being loved still feels lonely. And now I sit beneath these dying neon lights, listening to whiskey and guitars collide, feeling every abandoned version of myself gather silently inside. And this old voice sounds rough tonight, not from age, but accumulated disguise. 'Cause pretending for too many years leaves permanent smoke inside your lungs and eyes. Sometimes I wanna disappear completely, just to hear my original thoughts again, without the noise of expectation, without performing for another human being. Yeah, I became a stranger while trying to be loved. And somewhere along the road, I forgot which parts of me were real and which were built to keep people close. Still these blues keep trembling through me, like the last honest thing I own. Every note pulling buried truths upward from places I stopped showing. And baby, the saddest thing a man can realize ain't that nobody loved him. It's realizing the real version of him never truly got the chance to be loved at all. Some people lose relationships, and some people
there comes a point in some men's lives where survival becomes so important. They accidentally kill everything inside themselves that made survival worth it. I don't remember exactly when it happened. Pain rarely announces when it wins. It just keeps arriving in small portions till numbness quietly settles in. At first I still reacted honestly, still cried when something broke apart, still believed emotions were sacred, still trusted the language of the heart. But life kept teaching harsher lessons. People left, dreams collapsed, time moved cold. And eventually feeling everything deeply started becoming dangerous to hold. So I adapted the way frightened humans always do. The man I became was built to survive, not to feel. Built from scar tissue and silence, built from learning how to conceal. Now every emotion arrives delayed, like echoes from another room. And every beautiful moment touches me a second too late to bloom. People think numbness feels peaceful, but numbness ain't peace at all. It's watching your own life happen from behind an invisible wall. Food loses flavor slowly, music loses color too. Even love starts feeling distant, like sunlight filtered through smoke and blue. And the cruelest part is nobody notices. 'Cause numb men still go to work, still answer text and pay their bills, still know exactly how to function hurt. Love, the world rewards emotional suppression, then act surprised when souls start disappearing. The man I became was built to survive, and survival became my cage. 'Cause somewhere along the endless pressure, I traded feeling for staying safe. Now these blues sound clinically honest, like evidence from a crime scene. So every guitar bend another symptom of a spirit learning not to unfold. Maybe human beings were never designed to carry this much unprocessed sorrow. Maybe the nervous system eventually protects itself by shutting doors internally. 'Cause there's only so much heartbreak, only so much disappointment, only so much emotional abandonment a soul can absorb before it chooses numbness over destruction. And maybe depression ain't always sadness, maybe sometimes it's the funeral after feeling dies. Now I sit beneath those neon lights with whiskey burning through my veins, trying to remember what wonder felt like before survival rewired my brain. And this old electric guitar beside me cries harder than I know how to anymore, like it's mourning the emotional language I don't fully speak no more. Sometimes I envy people still capable of being shattered by love or grief, 'cause at least they still feel life directly instead of through protective disbelief. Yeah, the man I became was built to survive, but not to fully live. And now I carry years of emptiness with nothing left to give. Still I walk these rainy streets at midnight like a ghost wearing human skin, searching every song and every silence for the place where feeling ended within. And maybe the deepest tragedy in life, hey, when pain destroys a person, it's when pain rebuilds them into someone who can no longer feel enough to know they're alive. Some people break loudly, and some people become frighteningly functional right after their soul goes numb.
Yeah, ain't no mercy in quiet nights, only truth. I've been talking to the silence like it understands, like it's holding all the pieces of who I am. But it don't answer, it just breathes real slow, like it's seen too much to let me know
Got a heart that remembers what I tried to forget. Every word, every wound, every unpaid debt. And time, yeah, time don't heal a thing. It just teaches you how to carry the sting. And I walk through echoes of what we were. Every shadow speaks, every line still hurts. The silence owes me nothing at all. It won't catch me when I fall. I scream inside, but it don't reply, just lets me drown without asking why. Got a soul full of things I never said, conversations with the dead. And I keep breathing, but I can't pretend I ain't breaking. I just don't bend. There's a mirror in the night that don't lie to me. Shows a man I don't want to see. Lines on my face like a map of regret. Places I've been, I ain't left yet. I love too hard where I should've let go. Held on to fire just to feel the glow. Now all I got is a fading trace of a ghost that wore your face. And your name still falls like a quiet rain on the dry, cracked ground of my pain. The silence owes me nothing at all. It won't catch me when I fall. I scream inside, but it don't reply, just lets me drown without asking why. Turn dust in a trembling hand. Seen love collapse where it used to stand. Ain't no lesson, ain't no grand design, just fragile hearts and borrowed time. Tell me, where do the broken go when there's nowhere left they don't already know? Just a room and a fading light and the weight of one more night. Now I move like a man with nothing to prove, but everything left to lose. And the blues ain't music, it's a state of mind where the truth is cruel, but it's still kind. 'Cause it strips you down to what is real. Every scar, every doubt you feel, and somewhere deep in the hollow sound, there's a reason you're still around. The silence owes me nothing, I know. Still I got nowhere else to go. So I sit with it, let it cut me clean, till there's nothing left in between. Got a voice that shakes, but it won't lie. Got tears that I don't let dry. If I fall tonight, let it be this way. With the truth I never could say. Yeah, ain't no answers, just the sound of staying alive. I didn't choose this way, but somehow it knew my name. woke up carrying something old, not a story I was ever told. No memory clear, no scene defined, just a certain shape inside my mind. It don't belong to what I've done, feels older than what I've become, like echoes pass through quiet blood from somewhere I never stood. No voice to trace, no face to see, still it lives somewhere in me. I inherited what I can't explain, a quiet, unlocated pain, no origin I can recall. Still it rises when I fall. It ain't a choice, it ain't a flaw, just something past without a law. And every step I try to claim feels shaped by what never had a name. There were silences before my own, in rooms I've never even known, words unspoken, truths concealed, wounds that time refused to heal. They settled deep, they learned to stay, then found their quiet, hidden way into the things I hesitate, into the parts I overstate. And I call it mine, 'cause I don't know how far back this thing can go. I inherited what I can't explain, a weight that don't align with pain, no single moment I can name, still I carry it the same. What if we're more than what we choose? More than the paths we win or lose? What if we live what others left? Unfinished thoughts, unspoken depth. And if I stop and trace it through, will I find me or someone I never knew? A borrowed grief, a second breath, living on past someone else's death. Now I walk softer than before, like I might open up a door to something buried, something still, something deeper than my will. And I don't fight it like I used to, don't try to break what I passed through, 'cause maybe knowing isn't release, just a quieter kind of peace. I inherited what I can't undo, not fully theirs, not fully true, but something in between the lines of all the lost and hidden signs. And if I carry it, I see it doesn't have to carry me. Maybe I end what I can't name by standing still inside the pain. Yeah, not everything begins with you, but something can end with you.
there was a word for it. I had it once, then it left. I used to name what I could feel, wrap it tight, make it seem real. Every ache had something to say, every night could find its way. But something shifted soft and slow, the kind of change you barely know. Till one day I reached for sound, and nothing answered, nothing found. Not silence loud, not silence deep, just something words could never keep. There's a place where words give up, where meaning cracks and won't hold up. I tried to speak, but it fell through like broken light with nothing true. No language left to frame the pain, no shape to hold, no name to claim. Just something vast I can't translate, and I'm left here to imitate. I said I'm fine like people do, but it don't bend, it don't ring true. It's just a sound that fills a space where something real won't show its face. I tried regret, I tried loss, but both felt smaller than the cost of something I can't bring to fall. A silent, uncontained storm, and every phrase I once believed feels like something half conceived. There's a place where words give up, where truth won't fit in any cup. You pour it out, it spills away, leaves you with less than you can say. What is truth if it can't be told? If every word leaves something cold? Do we feel more than we can be, or less than what we think we see? And if the language fails the mind, what part of us gets left behind? The one that knew, or the one that spoke, or the space between where meaning broke? Now I don't reach for names or lines, I let it sit undefined. Not because I understand, because it won't fit in my hand. And maybe this is what remains when truth outgrows its spoken chains. Not clarity, not even doubt, just something I can't speak about. Yeah, I've been to where words give up, and nothing there just exist beyond the frame, without a word, without a name. Yeah, I had a word for it once. Now I just feel it.
State your name or don't. Truth don't need it. I stand where the light don't fully reach, with words that tremble when I speak. Not 'cause I fear what they might find, but 'cause I don't know my own design. I lived a life that looked intact, no shattered proof, no single act. Yet something quiet slipped askew between the things I didn't do. No crime declared, no victim named, no line of law that can be claimed, no evidence you'd recognize, just absence wearing a disguise. A pattern formed in subtle ways through unattended passing days, where choice is small, too slight to see, accumulated silently. I never meant intent is thin, I didn't know. Yet still it's been no verdict falls, no gavel sounds, no chains of place, no truth is bound, but something in the air remains, a quiet form of unnamed blame. I'm not condemned,
Yet not released,
no, or declared,
yet no true peace.
just standing where the lines are blurred between what is and what we were. I do not shout, I do not chase, I take no form, I hold no face, but I arrive when words are done, and linger long when truth won't come. I live between what's said and not, in every doubt, in every thought, and I grow strong where clarity dies, in all the things you justify. Then what am I, if nothing's clear, the sum of all you didn't hear? No verdict falls,
No gavel sounds,
no final line,
where truth is found,
but something deeper holds its place. Oh wait, no judgment can erase. I'm not forgiven, not accused, just slowly, quietly reduced to something harder to define than wrong or right, or yours or mine. What is guilt without a name?
what is guilt without a name?
What is lost without a flame?
What is lost without a flame?
If no moment breaks the thread, do we still count what quietly spread? Is a lie the things we choose, or the sum of what we lose? And if no answer
silence mean? It never was. Now I don't speak the way I did. I leave more truth than I once hid. Not out of strength, not out of grace, because I've seen what time replaces. I don't ask for right or wrong, I just carry what feels long, and try to stand if nothing more, a little closer than before. No verdict falls, and maybe that's the heaviest truth a man can have. No end, no line, no closing plea, just what remains inside of me. Not innocence, not clear regret, just something I can't label yet. And maybe truth ain't loud or bright, just something that outlives the night. Case remains open. Case remains open.
Don't ask me what I did. I only know it never lived. There's a weight I carry I can't define. No shape, no face, no clear design. It don't shout, it don't demand, but it lives somewhere between my hands. I tried to bury it in passing years, under work, under smoke, under quiet fears. But time don't cover what it don't erase. It just teaches it how to change its face. And every now and then it breathes again through the cracks of where I've been. I owe something I can't repay. Not in words, not in the way a man confesses what he's done when he don't know who he's become. It ain't a sin I can't confess, just a slow, unending heaviness. And it follows close, it never strays, like a debt that don't need names. I seen kindness I did not return, watched a bridge I refused to burn, left things hanging in midair like I never truly cared. There were moments I could have stayed, could have fixed what I let decay, but I chose the road that asked me less. Now I live inside that yes, and regret ain't loud, it settles deep in the hours you cannot sleep. I owe something I can't repay. Not in words, not in the way a man confesses what he's done when he don't know who he's become. Just a shadow stretched by time. No clear victim, no clear blame. Still it burns without a name. And truth don't knock or ask you in. It waits until you're paper thin. Then it leaves without a sound, till there's nothing left to hold it down. Now I speak softer than before, like words might open up a door to something I've been avoiding long, something quietly wrong. I don't run, I don't deny, I just let it pass me by. 'Cause facing it don't make it less, just makes it harder to suppress. Oh, something I can't replace, and I carry it every day, not as punishment or plea, just the cost of being me. No redemption dressed in light, no clear right, just a man and what remains of a dead without a name. Yeah, some things don't need judgment, they just stay. You ever notice how people slowly trade pieces of themselves just to keep being accepted? And by the time they finally feel loved, they no longer recognize who received the love. I learned early how to adjust myself, how to soften truth around certain ears, how to hide the parts that made people uneasy, how to make my darkness disappear. So I became easier to hold, easier to introduce in crowded rooms, learned the exact shape of likability and wore it like polished shoes. Every rejection taught refinement, every silence trained disguise, till honesty itself started feeling dangerous, like standing naked beneath judgmental eyes. And Lord, the loneliest thing in this world is being loved for a version of yourself you had to manufacture. I became a stranger while trying to be loved, bent my soul till it fit their hands. Now every compliment feels misplaced, like applause for a man I don't understand. 'Cause they love the edited language, the safer shadow I design, while the real me sat somewhere distant,
watching quietly from behind. Funny thing about emotional survival, it rarely looks dramatic at first. No thunder, no collapse, no final goodbye, just little betrayals rehearsed. A laugh that wasn't fully honest, a silence where truth should have stood. Another moment choosing acceptance over being deeply understood. And each compromise felt harmless, too small to mourn alone. Till one day my reflection looked familiar, but no longer felt like home. 'Cause human beings can survive invisibility long enough to confuse it with peace. Yeah, I became a stranger while trying to be loved, and nobody even noticed the exchange. 'Cause from the outside I looked successful, while internally I felt rearranged. Now these old blues sound painfully accurate, like confessions soaked in smoke and regret. Men singing from identity so fractured, they can't remember who they were before they bent. Maybe that's the hidden violence of society. Not hatred, not cruelty, but conditional acceptance. The quiet pressure to become digestible, presentable, convenient, until authenticity starts feeling socially dangerous. So people amputate pieces of themselves gradually, for connection, for approval, for survival. And afterward, they wonder why being loved still feels lonely. Now I sit beneath these dying neon lights, listening to whiskey and guitars collide, feeling every abandoned version of myself gather silently inside. And this old voice sounds rough tonight, not from age, but accumulated disguise. 'Cause pretending for too many years leaves permanent smoke inside your lungs and eyes. Sometimes I wanna disappear completely, just to hear my original thoughts again, without the noise of expectation, without performing for another human being. Yeah, I became a stranger while trying to be loved, and somewhere along the road I forgot which parts of me were real and which were built to keep people close. Still these blues keep trembling through me, like the last honest thing I own. Every note pulling buried truths upward from places I stopped showing. And maybe the saddest thing a man can realize ain't that nobody loved him, it's realizing the real version of him never truly got the chance to be loved at all. Some people lose relationships